All right.
You guys want to do national, local, or what do you want to do?
Well, I think let's start with some news.
All right. I have questions about local news for you guys, but
let's start with the big news out of California.
Let's do it. National spin on vaccination protest.
Well, this is something that goes well beyond just the vaccines, but we have news from New York and where school children who are being disallowed from attending school because they have not been vaccinated up to date on the full schedule.
That's fine. They should refund their parents' property taxes.
Yeah.
There's so much more. How about the rest of our property taxes as well?
Yeah.
But the point is that
you convinced me.
These kids went to the New York school department, public building, to speak with their officials and things like that to see what they could do. And they were barred from entering because they had admitted that they were not fully vaccinated. Now the adults all got through. And when you check out we've put it up on 3D Politics from Constitutional Grounds, but New York, the school children then broke into a big chant. It was really loud. They actually had to get the kids to calm down a little bit so they could do their little video.
For the Green Bay Packers or who?
What's that?
What was the chant for?
Was do not discriminate or do not segregate.
Okay, you were talking New York, but you said something in California.
Well, California is even bigger. California has had a new law put in place, signed by Gavin Newsom, by the infamous Dr. Pan. He's Senator Dr. Pan, like we had the Senator Dr. Yen. Okay, and he's the one who started the whole thing in California.
Doctor Senator or just Senator?
Yeah, Senator with a God complex.
Senator Doctor or Doctor Senator, whichever way you go.
God for sure.
Those are the worst legislators.
You don't believe it, just ask him.
Tom Coburn was the only good doctor legislator.
Well,
in the polls.
Okay, that's debatable.
Sure.
Anyway, the next thing is that that now they have passed SB 276 and signed it into law, which eliminates virtually all of your exemptions. It eliminates religious and philosophical and many, if not most, medical exemptions.
It actually gets rid of that unless it's one of the exemptions that they decide.
Well, they decide that you can have a child who has been vaccine injured from a particular, if you know which vaccine or concoction of vaccines it was, they may be able to get out of those, but everything else they're going to force them to take, even though they're sick.
No, but the thing is, you can't just say we're claiming a medical exemption because they have to approve it, therefore it's their list of medical exemptions.
That as well.
Yeah.
And I'm confused though, Oldham. The autistic kids do or do not have to take vaccines?
They will.
Okay.
Under this new law, they will have to still take vaccines.
If you aren't autistic enough, like God,
Oh my gosh.
We're gonna make you better at drawing.
Well, but David, you've got to remember, vaccines do not cause autism or any other malady, even though $4 billion has been paid out by the
correlation isn't causation, and I haven't seen any of that research.
Although the government has paid $4 billion for a reason, because
the gods have told
it's a
us
secret
it
court.
doesn't cause.
That's like a FISA court. It's not for you unwashed heathens to understand what goes on.
Well, even if it does cause them, really, if you can, even this vaccination thing, I didn't learn really about it until the 2016 mayoral race, and I really didn't understand that there was this big of a movement. It's only grown in the last few years, and it's almost a religious thing because the science is not totally figured out. And the bottom line is, even if a group of experts thinks that shooting my 2-month-old with a bunch of your chemicals will make everything all right, I may still say, I don't care. I don't want your vaccination.
Well, the state is the highest authority, and they are not eliminating the religious exemptions. They're only placing the highest religious exemption, which is the state's religious exemption.
That's very true.
Which is
the
their
state,
religion.
secular
Yes.
progressivism
Religion,
is
yes.
the highest and only religion that matters in government.
And this is why Constitutional Grounds is on this issue. because it really has the whether or not you agree with the science. Quite frankly, it's debatable. Frankly, there's never been a true placebo-based study done on any vaccine to prove safety or efficacy. Did you guys know that?
Yeah, but you don't have polio, so checkmate.
No, and this is a true placebo. There have been fake placebo studies, but not true placebo. And by fake, I mean that you're getting the concoction without the organism in it, but you're getting the concoction of all the other junk that they have, not saline. And so you're not getting true placebo. And so we... You know, and if anybody disputes it, I want to see the evidence.
Well, it turns out that mercury kills polio and the measles.
No big deal.
And everything else.
I thought we'd said everything that could be said about vax last week.
But here's the point.
But Lisa Grieve keeps slipping us 20s.
But here's the point: is that this is a rights issue.
Yeah,
and irrespective of whether you agree with vaccination or not, it is a right of a person to choose whether or not they are going to put something in their body.
I've heard about that before, the right to choice.
You know?
Isn't that interesting? The people that are pro-choice, they're only pro-choice on murdering infants.
Oh, yeah.
But nothing else. They're not pro-choice on...
Well, and Mary Fallon didn't even believe you should know what's in the vaccine that they're giving you.
Well,
in fact,
you know, she's a fair lady. She just wanted you to be on equal footing with herself.
yeah.
But here's the question to finish this up, or the rest of the news, and that is that parents in California are not taking this lying down. They today blocked all the entrances to the state capitol, or attempted to. Several were arrested. There were at least 2 arrested this morning. Others were about to be arrested when I last had to turn off and go to work. But there were arrests going to be made. They were not going to leave. More arrests will probably have happened this afternoon. The state police are there. There were already shoving matches with people who wanted to get by them into the Capitol. But all of this because good people have done nothing about the tyrannical government. And so the question is, are you fighting for these kids and these parents?
These folks really need to think
even
about
though you disagree with them, will you fight for them? Because that's what's going to happen.
I got to put this in context, David. You're from California, so you know this.
Yeah, that's
but
a good deal.
This very thing is why I'm not there.
Right. But having worked with homeschool football teams and organizing across the nation, several of the teams I worked with out there, I found out they didn't truly have a homeschool group as you and I would know it here in the Midwest. That it's illegal now in California to homeschool unless you're part of some umbrella group through at least a private
It's been
education
for a very
facility.
long time. It's been
Yes,
for
yeah, at
20
least.
plus years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you can't, Mom, Dad, in California, you can't just say, fine, I'll homeschool and keep my kids home. Because they say, no, you don't get to keep your kids.
You're forced associated with a group somehow.
Somehow.
Correct. Well, you're property of the state on the left coast.
And
so.
again,
Yeah.
none of this stuff is constitutional. and the thing is that do we understand that the Bill of Rights applies to us individually, we the people, and not just the governments, and restricts a certain government or other? The thing is, do you realize that we possess those rights, and therefore no government, state, federal, state, or local, can thereby infringe them or violate them or deprive us of them?
Would this be an accurate state, the idea that the Constitution is a protection for the citizens, and the minute you're an elected official, that Constitution is really no longer yours, it's your obstacle? Is that...
Well, that's the way they view
Yeah.
it. They definitely view it, and they've said as much.
Yeah. To grow government is to shrink individual liberty, generally.
In a
Oh,
practical
absolutely.
sense,
Well,
yeah.
and it's what what we or our founders accused the King of England of in the Declaration of Independence, that he had heaped upon him. He'd heaped
King George did nothing wrong.
He called my people savages. Boom.
Yeah, he violated their constitution and usurped his authority. And that's exactly what we have here. And we have more and more ministers being created, more and more government positions to eat out our substance.